How's it going, everybody? Today I'm going to talk you through our process that we go through for Unravel, and specifically like what to do annotating the text through Cami on our digital platform. And so we'll talk about especially the V part of Unravel, and I'll take you through a few of those. I'm not going to do the whole short story because that'd be like a 25-minute video, and no one wants to watch that. But you're just going to go through. We're going to do the process with the story. I'm going to show you how to do the first couple paragraphs. I'm also going to show you how to do some of the questions at the end, so we make sure that we're doing the E and the L Unravel. And then, yeah, you can message me with any questions that you have after watching this video, and any other general questions that you might have, okay? So we're going to look at today's assignment. So we'll go to the English class. And then we're going to go to the modules. We should see a couple things under today's date. Mainly the page that explains what to do. That's the one we're going to go to. Usually, like, everything you need is on that page. The other things are there because, they're assignments for today, but there's actually links to those assignments on this page. So we're going to go ahead and click on that. And Cipher in the Snow was the short story about the little boy who basically drops dead on the way to school. You might have watched the video last week. We had started reading it in class last week and finished it up today. So if you're working from home, you might be a little bit ahead of us, and that's fine. But if you're not sure what to do or you want to double check, make sure that you go back through yours so you know that you have everything that you need for your Unravel. Okay? Just a reminder about the process. So the U stands for underlining the title and author. The N is now make a prediction. The R is race your eyes through the text, number the paragraphs. The A is are there any unknown vocab words? Circle them. The V is verify important info, main idea of each paragraph. The E is eliminate silly answers. And the L is look back and find evidence to support your answer. This E one is really only going to happen if there's a multiple choice question. But if there's not, you don't worry about that one. In this text, there are a few multiple choice questions, so we are going to do that one. So now that you know it, we're going to open the assignment. There's actually a recording of it, so if you're working from home, you can listen to this while you annotate and just have it open so you can pause it when you need to stop and all that. We're going to go ahead and click on the assignment. And that recording of the reading for the text is also here in the assignment. So it should load here in a second. And there you go. So you could listen to this while you're working. I don't know if you can hear it, but all you have to do is press play on that. So I would have that open maybe off to the side in another tab. But we'll go ahead and click on this. It's going to open us up in Cami. So if this is the first time you've ever used Cami for anything, you're going to have to log in with Google, use your Granite Google account. Message me if you're not sure what that is. It's the first four at granitesd.org, but I'll help you out with that if you need help with that. Okay? So it's going to open up the text in Cami. And we're all loaded up here. So as you can see at the top where it says directions, use Unravel to annotate the text, we have what that means right here. So you have that there just as a reminder. Okay? So if I'm going to underline the title and author, which is the first thing I have to do before I even start reading, I'm going to go to the markup. I have an underline right here. Choose your color if you want to choose a different color, and I'm just going to underline the title and author. There we go. I just did you, right? Next step is to now make a prediction. So the title is Cipher in the Snow. I don't know much about the text at this point. Just want to make a text box. And up here somewhere in the top, just what you predict. I predict that this story will be about someone they find in the snow. I predicted that this story is going to be about someone they found in the snow. It's a prediction, so it doesn't really matter. There's not really a wrong answer. Just not doing it's the wrong answer. And you can adjust fonts and stuff like that. You have a lot of control over this. It doesn't have to look a certain way. You just have to follow the process. Next one, we're going to erase our eyes through the text and number the paragraphs. So the best way to do that is probably still with the text box. And then just next to each paragraph, I'm going to click and then write the number. So that first one was paragraph 1. paragraph 2, paragraph 3, and keep going. Mistake a lot of students make when they're numbering, if they mess up, is when the paragraph starts on one page and goes to the next page. Some students struggle with that. So making sure that you don't number the same paragraph twice. So for example, paragraph 10, right here at the bottom, starts on the first page and then it goes on to the next page. You don't want to number that part right here, 11. You won't number till the next paragraph. So on and so forth. You're going to keep going all the way to the bottom and number all the paragraphs, okay? Our next one is, are there any vocab words that we don't know? And we want to circle them. And you can do circle a couple different ways. I'm just going to use the markup feature. And I'm going to, let's see. Actually, I'm going to use the draw feature. And I'm just going to draw when I see a word that I want to circle. So these could be words that you don't know, or maybe they're used in a way that you're not really sure what they mean. So I'm going to look at this first paragraph here. It says, a boy lurched out of the bus, reeled, stumbled, and collapsed on the snowbank at the curb. Maybe I don't know what lurched means, or maybe I think most of my fellow classmates don't. So I'm going to go ahead and circle that. Reeled, I know like fishing reels, but this kid's reeling off the bus, so I don't really, maybe I don't know what that means, okay? So I can circle those two. You're going to just go through and try to circle some words. Try to circle just, there might not be too many difficult words in this text, but for this assignment, since we're practicing the skill, try to circle at least 1 or 2 words that you're going to not only circle, but we also want to define them, right? So that way we know what they mean. Awesome feature with Kami is if I click dictionary up here in the top left, I can click on a word and it tells me what it means. So lurched, and this is being used as a verb because he lurched out of the bus. An unsteady, uncontrolled movement. Stagger. I like stagger. He's kind of slumping over probably. So I'm going to go with that one. You can also, if you don't have a dictionary, just use context clues. So you can picture this in your head. All right, a boy came out of the bus, reeled, stumbled, and collapsed. He's probably not upright when he got out of the bus, right? He's probably like leaning forward. He's obviously not feeling good. So in the side over here, I'm just going to make a comment and give a little definition. So I'm just going to put like hunched over kind of. Leaning. And it doesn't have to necessarily be a correct definition. This is just like from your context clues. It just helps you better understand what the word means. It's not a definition for like a test on the vocab. It's a definition so that shows like you're thinking about what the words mean. Okay. The other one I did was reeled up here. So if I click on that one with the dictionary, I'm looking at it and I'm not really seeing a good definition for how this is being used. He reeled, stumbled, and collapsed in the snowbank. And this cylinder, no. He wind something on a reel by turning the reel. So this, I kind of get this when it comes to like a fishing reel, but for this definition, I think a better one, just based on context clues, would be I'm picturing him kind of lurching out of the bus, like leaning forward and then like reeling back and then stumbling and falling, right? So I'm going to say like leaning back. That's kind of something that you do when you reel in a fishing pole, like you lean back and you're pulling it closer to yourself, so you're like pulling. So I'm just going to go with that for our context clue definition for that. So that's all you do for the V, or for the A, sorry. Next, we're going to do the V, and this is the part where we actually have to read the text and comment throughout. So we're going to want to have a comment up. I want to have a different color than you've been using just to kind of delineate between the two. So I'm going to go with green. And like I said, we have this text, the audio for it, so you can listen to it while you're reading and then stop it when you need to and then stop and kind of make a comment. So I'm going to go ahead and start with the first paragraph. I'm not going to do this whole text because that would take a really long time. So I'm just kind of showing you guys how to do this. So I'm going to start reading. So Cipher in the Snow by Gene Miser. It started with tragedy on a biting cold February morning. I was driving behind the Milford Corners bus, as I did most snowy mornings on my way to school. It veered and stopped short at the hotel, which it had no business doing, and I was annoyed as I had to come to an unexpected stop. A boy lurched out of the bus, reeled, stumbled, and collapsed on the snowbank at the curb. The bus driver and I reached him at the same moment. His thin, hollow face was white even against the snow. So I'm going to stop myself and try to make an annotation to verify important information or main ideas. And I'm going to go with this last sentence here. His thin, hollow face was white even against the snow. And this is an example of imagery. I'm going to identify it as such. And this shows that, and I want to explain why I highlighted. So this shows that he was as pale as the white snow. And it probably means that he is either dead or extremely ill. So that's an inference we can make just based on that. If you watch the video or you've read this a little bit, you kind of know what's going on, but we're kind of assuming that we don't know. Another good thing with especially at the beginning of a text is to make predictions. So you can do that. You can ask questions, things like that. He's dead, the driver whispered. It didn't register for a minute. I glanced quickly at the scared young faces staring down at us from the school bus. A doctor, quick, a phone from the hotel. No use, I tell you. He's dead. The driver looked down at the boy's still form. He never even said he felt bad, he muttered. Just tapped me on my shoulder and said, real quiet, I'm sorry. I have to get off at the hotel. That's all. Polite and apologizing like. So there's a couple questions I have here while I'm reading this. The bus driver says it's no use in calling anybody a doctor or anything. How does he know? How does he know there's no use? How does he know for sure he's dead? Why aren't they checking for a pulse? Why aren't, see that? They doing CPR? Those are some questions. Like it's weird. They just kind of gave up right away. No, kid's dead. We don't need to check his pulse. It's weird. The other thing I want to point out is that at the end of this paragraph, we have actually our only quote from Cliff, and it's right here where he's on the bus and he says, I'm sorry, I have to get off at the hotel. The bus driver describes it as being polite and apologizing like. And so you think about what this would tell you about this kid. And really what it's telling you is that he feels like he's probably a burden to the people around him. He doesn't, like, if you were sick and you knew something was really wrong, you would want help. Like, you would ask for help. Hey, something's wrong with me. I need help. Like, we need to stop at a hospital. I need to call an ambulance. I need something. But Cliff really just apologizes and says, hey, I'm sorry for ruining your day. I'm about to go die by the hotel. So that kind of shows a little bit. He feels like a burden and doesn't even ask anybody for help. And if you watch the video, you know a little bit more about the background, the stepdad and stuff like that. But at this time, if you're reading this for the first time, that would be all we had to go on. You can kind of make some inferences that maybe life experiences told him to not get in people's way, to stay out of the way. So he feels like a burden, tells us a little bit about him and probably his life, okay? So I'm going to stop there with the annotations. You're going to continue to annotate throughout. If you notice, I don't have something on every single paragraph, but we've only done 5 paragraphs and I have 3 already. So you're going to have a good amount, at least every couple paragraphs you'll have one, and just not every single paragraph when it comes to a short story. When we do an article, there's a lot more condensed information and you will probably have a main idea with each paragraph. But on the short stories where you have some dialogue, you have some different things, you're not going to have it for every paragraph, okay? So that's how you do the V in Unravel. I'm going to show you real quick how to do the E and the L, which are after we read. So let's just assume, fast forward, that we read everything. We'll go down to the bottom. And we have, this is just a thing that happens every once in a while. Some of the documents get a little bit messed up, but we want to make sure that even if there's answers on there, they might not always be the right answer. So we want to make sure. So we want to eliminate the dumb answers. The question is, which sentence from the text best supports the inference that Cliff Evans was ignored? So take a second to look at them and figure out which ones you can eliminate because they're obviously not the right answer. Okay, so hopefully you get a chance to read through those. So him being ignored. The Big Ranch kitchen was clean and warm. That has nothing to do with him being ignored. So I'm going to go back to my markup. I'm going to use the strike through. You could also draw a line through it or an X. I'm just going to use the strike through. And I'm going to go ahead and just strike this out because I don't have to worry about it. It's not an answer that fits. After school, I sat in the office and stared blankly at the record spread out before me. I don't think that says anything about being ignored, so I'm going to skip that one too. I'm going to strike it out. And notice that we're physically crossing it out. We're not just like eliminating it with our minds. We're crossing it out so we can really focus on what could be the right answer. Because a lot of times, it's not just the right answer, it's the best answer. And so you have to make sure that whichever one you're choosing is the best possible answer, okay? C says, I could guess how many times he'd been chosen last to play sides in a game, how many whispered child conversations had excluded him, how many times he hadn't been asked. Sounds like he's being ignored in that one, so that's a good one. Just want to make sure if there's not a better one here, so I'm going to look at the last one. Cliff Evans, white, never legally adopted by his stepfather, 5 young half-brothers and sisters. That doesn't really show that he's being ignored, especially not as well as that one. So I'm going to cross this one out and choose the correct answer, which is actually C in this case. And I'll just highlight it. You can circle it. Just note it in some way. I'll do a different color just so it sticks out a little bit. But C is my correct answer there. So that's kind of how you do that. That's how you're going to eliminate your answers. So that's how you do the E in Unravel. The last one is the L. Look back and find evidence to support it. And so that's especially important when you're looking at questions where you have to give evidence from the text. You want to make sure you're not just saying random things. Whatever you say, you can support it with evidence. Notice question 4 asks you to find 2 or 3 examples from the text. So make sure you look back and find those. Question 5 asks you to give two to three examples from the text or your own life that supports your opinion. So you can give some text examples. You can talk about your own life. And then the last one, just 2 to 3 examples. So that doesn't mean it has to be just from the text. It could be from your life. Could be from anything else. But you just have to have evidence to support what you're saying for that question. Okay? When you're finished with an assignment in Cami, up here where there's like the save button for me, you should have a submit button. So when you're finished, you'll just submit it through here, and you're done once it's submitted. Okay? Please let me know if you have any other questions. That's how you do Unravel, and hopefully that makes a little bit more sense, because those of you that are working from home didn't have the benefit of me going through it and explaining with you. If you were in class and you just kind of spaced out a little bit, or you just weren't really paying attention, having a bad day, whatever, hopefully this video helps you out. All right? Again, message me with any questions. Make sure when you're done, you click submit. It should be up here for you. Right here, it just says save for me because I'm not a student. And that's how you unravel a text. You're going to finish this all the way, so make sure you finish it. Finish doing the unravel, the V in unravel. So we stopped right here, but you're going to keep going. Make sure you do the E and the L, answer all the questions, and then submit. Don't forget, if you want this resource of the text being read, make sure you use that. It's very helpful, and hope you have a good day. Hopefully that's better explained.